I'm back again with another live with me and my homeboy Harambe, guys. And this live is going to be on 10 must-have skyrocketing players that are booming up the rankings, guys. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. I said what I said. This is cutting edge content. What's going on, Harambe?
What up, bro? How you doing?
Pretty good, bro. I like doing these vertical lives, man. I think they really hit the algorithms really well. So, anytime we get a chance, man, we want to try to go live and put out some content because we want people to win championships here. We want people to go down with the ship. That's what my brand is, going down with the ship. So, guys, I got some players for you. So, and guys, you got any type of comments, put it in the comment section. We're going to get to everybody comment after we go over our players, but if you super chat, we will get to the comment immediately, and I will try to get to the members' comments first if I can help it. So, thank you guys. I'm seeing the road just hit me up. He says, "Can I come up today?" We ain't doing that type of live today. Maybe we can do one later on this week, maybe Friday or something.
How was your day, man? What'd you get into today?
Not much, man. Just went to work, man, and watch fantasy football content. That's about it, man. I heard about Jerry West dying. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that today, yeah.
How you feel about that?
So living in San Diego, I was saying it on the live the other day. I don't root for any LA anything. I don't support it, but I love sports. Jerry West was a huge impact on the NBA and basketball, different eras, bringing up players. He's a legacy player in that, in the legend of that franchise. That's a legendary sports franchise. And I could proudly say I am a Laker hater. I do not support the Lakers. I'm a Warriors fan, Dub Nation all day. But I got to give credit where it's due. You got the Lakers, you got the Celtics. These are two legendary franchises, so I have to give them props. And we got the finals today, too. Celtics
yes, sir.
Finals. What did you think about Jerry West passing, man? What was his impact on maybe like you growing up watching the sport and everything?
To be honest, man, it seemed that he had a lot of respect from the African American players, that he wasn't some white guy running around that really couldn't play. They said Jerry West was like that. Jerry West was LeBron James before LeBron James. Jerry West went to a lot of finals and lost. He didn't have a lot of help like LeBron James did in his career. So yeah, man, Jerry West, he's the logo. I think one day they might change the logo to MJ or LeBron. I think Jerry West had talked to him about that. He said he thought those guys should have a logo because they great. They've done a lot of great things. But yeah, man, I think he had a phenomenal career and he was very intelligent. You see the players that he picked. He was the one that traded for Kobe Bryant. He was the one that wanted Shaquille O'Neal to come there. He was the one that helped build the Warriors, right? Didn't he have something to help build the Warriors?
He did.
This guy, everything he touched turned to gold, man. Rumpelstiltskin.
Man, a lot of my buddies aren't really into basketball, but I love basketball. I went up to Oakland the year the Warriors were playing the Cavs, and it was at Oracle, so it's before they moved to San Francisco across the bay. And just like, being there, seeing all these players on the court, LeBron, Kevin Love, Kyrie, then you got Curry, Klay Thompson, Green, like these are Hall of Fame players. So to see that in the final setting was amazing. Carlos Santana played the national anthem on his guitar, and then Flow Rida was the halftime show. So we were it was great, man. If you guys ever get a chance to go watch a live basketball game, it's different than on TV. You see how athletic these guys are. They're freaks, man. And pause. And I don't mean like that. Like these guys are top tier athletes. So to go see them live, dropping threes and slamming it down and all these crazy passes and assists, it's quite a sight to see. And if you get a good team and you get to go see a good team in a good arena, the energy is electric. In my opinion, it's the best live sport to watch.
Right. Wow. I actually like watching baseball live. I love going to baseball games with the hot dogs and the peanuts and the wave and all that. But yeah, man, I got to go to. I never been to an NBA game. My bucket list is to go to like many sports, real life experiences as I can. So I'm definitely going to check that out. All right, guys. So I'm not going to hold you up. We're going to give off 5. Well, each of us got 5 guys that are skyrocketing up the rankings. Harami, you the guest, man. You want to start off with your guy?
Yeah, so guys, we're going to do the same format as 5 players. So you got a quarterback, a receiver, a running back, a tight end, and then a wild card player, which could be any of them. So we'll start with quarterbacks, TD. My quarterback is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. So he came back last year. He could have been a league winner for me, but I was stubborn. I went down with the ship, like he said, and I plugged in Patrick Mahomes, and he underwhelmed in the title game, right? So if I would have started this guy with his rushing upside, I would have won a title. I only lost by 6.38, something like that.
Right.
They just drafted some serious offensive weapons, did they not?
Yes.
So they got MHJ, who will be the wide receiver 1. They got baby Kelce, right? McBride.
Right, baby Kelce. Yes,
they
sir.
got Connor, and they got Benson, who I think will be the starter at the end of the year. This guy is ready to take off. He's not going early in drafts, maybe where he should be, but I've noticed in mocks, again, we're in June. It's early, guys. He's starting to creep up a little, and I think it's attached to those offensive weapons. And we saw the offense can click like it did late last year, and he's got better weapons this year. So I'm very excited. I'll be targeting him maybe like 5th round.
Right.
Depending where I get my guy. Like if I get some stud receivers and running backs.
Right.
But that's a guy I'll go to battle with all year long, and he's going to finish as a QB1.
Right. So, man, listen, I always compare fantasy football to stock. Like, so, if a stock dip, then you should buy lots of it because it's going to get back to where it was at 9 times out of 10, right? So you buying Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a top 5, top 3 quarterback when he was healthy. You buying him at a top 14 price? Uh-oh. So to me, man, I think it's killer value. I love getting Kyler Murray. He's not on my list, but I definitely think he's skyrocketing up the rankings. And right now, if I'm in a dynasty league, I'm trying to buy low on this guy right now. So that way, because this team is going to have plenty of weapons. We also didn't talk about Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson is a good player. Also, Greg Dortch. A lot of people sleep on Greg Dortch. He got some weapons out there, and this is also a Kevin Stefanski type team. That's why I love baby Kelce, which is Trey McBride. They're going to play ball control offense. So they're not going to ask Kyler Murray to take a lot of hits. He's not going to have to put the ball in the air a lot, but his efficiency is going to be better. So he's going to throw for more touchdowns. And I think this offense is going to be a top 12 offense in the league this year.
And he has that running cheat code if he needs it. He might win you a week or two with his legs.
Yes. I agree 100%.
So guys, get him when you can. I think by the time draft season's on us, he's gonna be maybe too pricey, but I'm willing to draft Kyler Murray this year.
Right. All right, so I'm gonna move on to my quarterback, and this guy is kind of obvious, but maybe not. But I think this guy should be the number 1 quarterback this year. I'm predicting that because of his weapons, and it's going to be C.J. Stroud. Yes, guys, C.J. Stroud. Now listen, he had Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. I'm probably fading all 3 of those guys at their ADP. Not saying they bad players, but I don't want to play musical chairs with them. But who's going to be great with those weapons is C.J. Stroud. He's going to be probably passing for 3 touchdowns a game. So I think this guy's going to have 40 tubs, close to 5,000 yards, and he's going to probably be up to an MVP candidate with a 68, 67% completion percentage. I love this guy. He got Stephon Diggs, who's going to help him underneath, who's a veteran. Bruh, I think C.J. Stroud should be the number 1 quarterback. I'm drafting him over Pat Mahomes this year. Probably if I want to get cute, I'm probably going to draft him over Lamar. I love Lamar, so I'm kind of biased when it goes to Lamar, but I think he's going to have a better year than Lamar because he's trying to prove himself. Like in fantasy, it's different. Like look at Lamar. Lamar was like top 5 quarterbacks, but he was the MVP. So But remember, a couple years ago, he was trying to prove himself. That's when he had like 38 passing touchdowns. So I believe C.J. Stroud in his second year, like Lamar, is going to try to prove himself, and he's going to try to throw for a bunch of touchdowns and show people that I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best.
I was actually going to ask you, would you take him or Mahomes? So you answered my question with what you were saying.
Yes.
I think that's a great pick, and I think he could definitely challenge to be QB1 and put up insane stats. So when we were used to Mahomes putting up nutty stats, insane stats, that might be CJ this year, putting up 400 yards a game with 2 to 3 touchdowns, 350 yards a game with 4 touchdowns. So if you guys are chasing the stats, like TD said, we don't know which guy's going to get the ball every week because they got weapons for days. But the head of the snake is CJ, and he's going to get those points no matter what. And don't be surprised if he has some rushing touchdowns now.
Come on now.
So you guys, CJ Stroud could be a league winner. He could be the QB1, number 1 player overall. That's a great pick. That's a great pick, TD.
Yep.
What you eating on? What you chomping on there?
You know it, man. It's watermelon time.
Oh, boy. There it is.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. That's funny.
I'm keeping the watermelon.
I'm going to go get some.
Watermelon.
Is it seedless?
Man, I hate it. Yes. I don't know what's on these fake watermelons. That's the best I can do, man. They don't have any ones that got seeds in them. I wonder why. Yeah.
They got steroids in it, don't it?
You know it, man. You know it. You know it.
Oh, 4-game suspension coming for TD's watermelon collection. Let's go.
Right.
All right, man. Want to move on to wide receiver? Why don't you give us your skyrocketing wide receiver?
Okay, I think this is going to surprise you, bro. I think this is going to surprise you. It's Ladd McConkey. And the reason why Ladd McConkey, if you go to best ball, he's moving up. Like, he's being drafted, probably the top 15 wide receivers off the board. And I'm not surprised at that. The reason why, tell me who's going to beat him out with targets.
It's not going to be a QJ.
It's not going to be QJ. QJ got a lot to prove. He's going to have some big plays, but he's not going to be getting 15 targets or 12 targets or 10 targets. Probably 6 or 7 targets a game. Underneath, this guy is like a baby Cooper Kupp, or as you call it, Walmart Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, I believe, guys, is going to be Justin Herbert's favorite target underneath. Now, would Justin Herbert have as many attempts as he had in the past? No. With Kellen Moore, no. Now, he won't be that type of offense, but it's going to be very efficient. And they're going to use Ladd all over the field because Ladd is a good route runner when he's healthy. The only thing you got to worry about Ladd is his health. That's the only thing that's held him back as a college player. But his route running, his athletic ability, his speed, his hands is all exceptional. That's why they drafted him in the late first round. And I think he's going to help Justin Herbert. And I think you can get this guy at a great value. But he's skyrocketing right now. So you might want to go ahead and make a move for him if you already have done your draft. And hopefully, if you are going to draft him near closer to the season, hopefully he hadn't moved up too far. But I love Ladd McConkey, not as one of my favorite players. It's just it's nobody else on the team that's going to get the target. So he's going to have to evolve fast. He might outdo some of the guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas just because of the targets.
I see him as being the chain mover, right? Like the Keenan Allen guy, like peppered with targets, underneath intermediate stuff. I agree. So they're going to need a guy to step up to be that guy. And I want it to be QJ because I got him in Dynasty. And I'm not out on QJ yet. He's still explosive. He's got to get his mind right. And I think we'll see that this year. He'll make steps to better prepare for the mental approach to his game. But the guy they drafted was Ladd. And that's going to be probably the wide receiver one by the end of the season. What round do you take him in, TD?
Me, it depends on what's on the board. But I think he should be your wide receiver 3 if you are drafting, trying to get good wide receivers. So I would say probably the 7th or 8th round if he's going to be there. I don't know if he's going to be there, man. He might move up to the 4th round. Who knows, right? Just depends on what's going on with Cam.
Yeah, like if the media, hypes him up.
Right.
Newer GMs or guys who aren't necessarily looking for sleepers. might draft him pretty high. Like I think as a wide receiver 3, he's good. If you can land him as a wide receiver 4 and put him in the flex, man, maybe grab Herbert late. You got a nice little stack there. Yeah, man, I love that, and I do think he's gonna get hyped. I think we're gonna see media stories coming out as we get closer to draft season. So let's hope he stays healthy, picks up the game quick, because he's coachable and he's got his head on right. So that's a great choice, man.
Right, guys. Tell them how to hit the like button.
Guys, to hit the like button, you should see 3 dots at the top of your screen. Tap that. It should bring up the thumbs up. Hit that for us. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Pause. All right. So my wide receiver kind of coincides with the QB I named, and it's Marvin Harrison Jr. So I know Rolly's very high on him and is willing to take him very high. MHJ for me would be a perfect wide receiver 3 on a team. I've seen him going in the late second, early third. And I think as we get closer to draft season, as he gets, tape at him at camp and whatnot, and the stories come out similar to Ladd, I wouldn't be surprised if people are taking him at the end of the first, early second. Now, is he going to return that value? I think he will. For me, I probably wouldn't take him in the first or second, but maybe late third to have as a wide receiver 3, maybe a wide receiver 2, maybe, just depending on who the other guys I drafted are. But by next season, this guy might be a first rounder. So I'm excited to watch this guy play. His ADP is high off of his college career. He's going to continue to be the wide receiver 1 in Arizona. So they drafted him for a reason.
You think he's going to be a first round pick by the time the season starts?
I think he could be.
I think he could be too.
If he's
after Jamar Chase did what he did, man, I think people are going to take wide receivers that are taken in the top 5 picks. Why wouldn't you take that chance? Me, I love him in Dynasty. I'm taking him as the number 1 pick in Dynasty, but redraft, I maybe take him in like the turn in the second round to try to package him with Kyler Murray. If I did take him in the second, I'm definitely trying to get Kyler Murray and Trey McBride and get that stack. I wouldn't want him to be by himself and be my number 1 wide receiver by itself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think if he's like a rookie of the year type, puts up, wide receiver 1 numbers, I could see him going late first, early second next year in redraft. I really can.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that running back sneaks up a lot too by the end of the year.
But just listen, James Conner ain't no slouch, though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, James Conner tough, man. People been trying to count James Conner out for a long time, but he's been pushing through, man. I thought he was done a couple years ago, and he only had 800 yards rushing, but he had 15, maybe 17 rushing touchdowns, kind of like a Raheem Mostert season. And then the next year after that, I think last year he had 13 rushing touchdowns. And so he's been a top 5 running back. So, man, that whole offense, that whole team is going to be sneaky good, man. I do think Trey McBride does come along because James Conner does have a problem staying healthy, but Trey can catch passes. I don't think James Conner can too, but I think Trey just a little bit younger and more explosive. So, yeah, man, I like that Marvin Harrison Jr. He's definitely skyrocketing up the rankings. I can't take him there early, though.
I'm willing to if it's right. Like, depending on what my, earlier picks are. We concluded our dynasty rookie draft. I took him 2nd overall. I'm starting him week 1, obviously. I'm going to put him right under CeeDee Lamb, pause. Because, the sky's the limit for the offense for him.
Right.
His dad, the Hall of Famer, not saying he's his dad, but he's got the blood,
Right.
So I'm very excited to watch this team real life and for fantasy purposes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's there, late first rounder in 2025 season.
Right. Okay. So I guess I go on to I don't have a tight end, but I got another wide receiver that I want to talk about. I talked about this guy I think 2 days ago. But he's skyrocketing up the rankings, and it's going to be George Pickens. Yes, guys, George Pickens. Now, listen, if you look at George Pickens' ADOT, yards per reception, and catchable targets, he's elite. He's one of the best receivers to ever play the game. And you might say, what do you mean, best receivers to play the game? He hasn't had a lot of catchable targets. And he has a great catch percentage like a Calvin Johnson, who had better catchable targets. For even though his targets are already off a lot because he played with Kenny Pickett and Matt, what was the guy? Rudolph. What's his first name? Mason Rudolph.
Mason.
He still has made a lot of great plays. So with Russell, last name Wilson, I still believe that Russell Wilson will be able to throw the deep ball. That's one thing that he can do. Russell still had like 26 passing touchdowns last year, even though it's not the Russell Wilson that we are used to. So I believe George Pickens will get hyper targeted, and he could have a top 12 fantasy football season, and that's just the floor. If this offense is really playing good through Arthur Smith, then I think he could be top 5, man. If you look at that A-Dot, I mean, he makes a lot of big plays for this team, and he has good yak too. So how do you feel about George Pickens, man? Do you think he could be a top 5, top 12 guy, or do you think he's too volatile?
I think he's too volatile. So I drafted him last year as my wide receiver 4, and I started him maybe 3 or 4 times in the flex because of that. What I'm worried about, TD, is Art Smith. Okay. He likes to run the ball.
Right.
Do we see the running backs just getting all kinds of plays and run, and George Pickens might go into full diva mode? Because we know he's got a temper. He wants the ball. He wants the ball out. So right. I'm concerned with his value being a little too high with that offensive coordinator. But he has an insane yak ability. He's got great hands, and he's fast and explosive. So if he gets into the, past the secondary and whatnot, it's pretty much a touchdown. So right. You don't need him to get 10 targets a game, but he needs to be the wide receiver 1 on that team. So right. I wouldn't mind drafting him again. I feel like he might be hyped a little bit because they did upgrade the quarterback.
Right.
But the offense they're installing it's a power run offense. So I'm trying to gauge like where, how early I would take Pickens. Right. Where would you take him?
I'm not gonna give an ADP, but I would say I would target him to be my wide receiver 3 as in right now. I would try to get him to be my wide receiver 3. And one thing that I would rebuttal, well, I don't know if it's a rebuttal, I would say add on, is AJ Brown with Arthur Smith was good. So when he's getting 8-man boxes, I believe that he would be able to exploit the corner one-on-one. And that's how I'm looking. So if this was a wide open offense, he hasn't played good when they was trying to get Deontay Johnson the ball, and all these other guys. But I think now that it's only him and Pat Freiermuth, maybe the rookie might do something from Michigan, but I think it's going to be him and Pat Freiermuth. So I think it's going to be concentrated targets. So I think this is probably a great opportunity for him to have one of his best fantasy seasons.
You're right. Another thing to point out was when Art Smith was in Atlanta, that offense was frustrating, but was it because of the quarterback play? Did it not click enough to where they could throw more? So it's a good point to bring up with that. I think they're going to be great for fantasy running backs. I think Freiermuth is a sleeper tight end who will get peppered with targets. But for me, Pickens, yeah, like you said, wide receiver 3. I think that's a good spot for him. I'd feel kind of iffy if he was my wide receiver 2, just because of the volatility.
Me too, me personally. But I want to be able to take that type of value and that type of athleticism at a wide receiver 3 ADP.
Yeah,
and he's moving up though. People are they talking about him in camp. So hopefully, the early you draft, you can go ahead and get this guy.
That's a good pick, man. I do like George Pickens. I want to see him put it all together for the whole season and get consistent targets. So maybe we'll see that this year, and he might be a steal. He might smash his ADP, even if it's 5th round or something like that.
Right. So, even if he's just a top 24 wide receiver, as in right now.
Right. So now we got to move on to the tight end.
Okay.
I'll let you finish your watermelon piece. I'll start. So, guys, this is the best tight end in the game. People took him in the first round last year. He did not deliver first round value. However, he's kind of slid in mocks. Again, we're in June. It's early, but he's the best pass catching weapon on this team. Is Travis Kelce. Now he's 34 years old. His calcium levels are a little low versus the past years. I won't tell you why. Travis Kelce is a Hall of Fame player playing with the best quarterback in the game. And something a lot of GMs don't talk about, week 1 against the Lions last year, he hurt his knee. You remember that?
Yes.
That probably impacted him the entire year.
Right.
And no one kind of really talked about or thought about that because his production was such a drop-off from the previous year. Yeah, he's a year older. He knows the system. He has the trust of his quarterback. When they get into the red zone, because they're going to be running the ball and doing reverses and all kinds of fun stuff, he's going to be the first guy they look at. So I would expect his numbers to go up this year. And I do expect him to have 1,000 yards receiving and probably somewhere between 9 to 12 touchdowns.
Right. So I love Travis Kelce because of the value that he's going this year. He's not going in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, and me and you talked about this with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I also rebutted a little bit of what you said, even though he did have a knee injury. So all of this together, I believe that they just kind of shut him down last year and said, listen, we want to get you healthy. We don't want you to play through. He could have played through, but why you push him through? And then he come into a playoff game against Baltimore and he's beat up. So I believe that now him and Pat Mahomes, I don't ever think they're going to be like the number one at their position ever again. I know that's a strong statement. But if you look at Tom Brady, when he was winning Super Bowls, he was never the number one quarterback. He was like top 5, top 6. So when you go into Super Bowl mode, look at Lamar Jackson last year when he had a great year. It's not going to be a lot of fantasy points. So when they get up on teams, you remember they used to beat teams 38-10, 38-14. We running the ball to Isaiah Pacheco, Pat Mahomes hand it off, Kelce sit on the side, go wave at your girlfriend, and we're gonna take it home. Go ahead and call Taylor and tell her you're gonna meet her later on tonight. We ain't giving you no 4 or 5 extra targets to get you 2 or 3 extra touchdowns. The game is over. But I think he's still going to be a top 5 tight end because the way they target him in this offense. So I still love his value. He's still going to get you over 10 points. If you over 10 points, I think you're a top 5 tight end. Am I mistaken, Harabi?
No, you're right.
So I believe he's going to get over 10 points a game. So either way, and he's going to give you a couple games where because he balled out early, he's going to have 20 points. So I think he's fine. But you're not going to see 35, 40 point, 35, 40 point Travis Kelce 2 or 3, 4 weeks in a row. You're not going to see that anymore.
If that does happen where he's putting up 30 point, it might be in quadrant 1 or 2 because they might be down their top receiver, Rashee Rice. So I could see a scenario. They're defending their title, so they got a target on their back. Pause. Right. They're gonna come out and try to win and get that 1 seed again, so they could be positioned to get the 3-peat.
Right.
Now, if they struggle or other teams are just spanking them and they're not being able to hang with the other team's offense, they're gonna pepper Travis Kelce early and often, and he won't have that knee injury anymore. I could see him still coming off the field, but returning better value in a more efficient offense. Still the boom.
Right. I can see that. That's why I'm willing to still take him as my number 2 tight end or number 3 tight end off the board. But I mean, really, what won you championships with Travis Kelce? I mean, they would put their foot on your neck, right? That's the time there. If they get down, yes, I think you got something special, but I don't want him coming off the field. I just think it's going to pull his targets down a little bit, maybe 25%. And I don't know if that is the Travis Kelce that we want. But as a tight end, I still think he's going to be one of the best tight ends in fantasy football that we want to have on our team. I like him over Sam Laporta because he's just going to get targeted like a wide receiver, where no other tight end really get targeted like that. So I agree with that. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna talk about a running back because I didn't do a tight end today.
Okay.
I didn't really see any tight ends that was gonna like really skyrocket up the rankings. But my running back is gonna be Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm.
Yes, Ezekiel. And the reason why he's skyrocketing up the rankings is you think Rico Dowdle is gonna be the number one running back? You think Deuce Vaughn is going to get all the goal line carries? I think the goal line carry, David Montgomery type guy is going to be Ezekiel Elliott. We don't need him to be 5, 6 years ago, Ezekiel Elliott. We just need you to be able to score 2 to 3 yards out. And I think he can do that. So, guys, his value right now is like way low. I think by the time the season comes, this guy probably gonna be going off the board as a top 24 running back. So I think he's gonna be in the starting lineup as two RBs type setups. He's gonna be a starting RB2. So I love Ezekiel, and I think the value is great right now.
I agree with you, man. And what I see happening is maybe when they get in the red zone, they'll bring Zeke in to punch the ball in, kind of like how Latavius and James Cook were last year. James Cook did all the work, got him down there, Josh Allen, whatnot. And then they brought in Old Man Murray to punch it in. So he's on a better offense this year than he was last year. He still returned insane value on the Patriots last year. That's
Right.
He's not 30 yet, guys. He's still going to get a lot of touchdowns. His value is going to come at the goal line. I'm gonna be surprised if he has like 13 touchdowns this year and like 400 yards rushing.
Right.
So he's a perfect zero RB target. He's like a perfect RB2 for that draft format. And I do think, and I agree with you, by the time we get to draft season, he's going to be going, earlier than he was last year, and he's a year older.
Right.
Yep. And Dakota, that's Dakota's best friend, is it not, TD?
Right. They boys off the field.
Yeah, man. And I guarantee you, Dakota is stoked that he's back playing with him. So
yes, and he's a great pass protector.
He carries PPR value. You could take those dump off passes.
Come on now.
Yeah, man. I want to see him. I say it almost on every live. I love when he jumps in the Salvation Army bucket, man. That's gold.
Right.
Yeah, man. That's a great pick for that.
Appreciate
it. I will be targeting him later in rounds. So where do you take him then? Like if he's rising, skyrocketing, where do you take him?
Ah, man, that's tough. Who knows, man? That value is so low. Right now, I'm gonna try to cheat and get him probably round 13, 12.
Yeah, maybe in a round or two, right before you take your kicker and your defense, if you play in that league, like that might be I don't like drafting running backs, guys. I like wide receivers and tight ends. Pause.
Right.
But you need to have running backs to carry you through. You still need those running backs, and they're going to be playing all year for a playoff spot. And when they need to score, they need that guaranteed touchdown, they're going to give it to Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Right at the goal line.
Right. Facts.
All right, man. So my ADP riser, and I know you like this guy too, TD. It's AK Alvin Kamara.
Yes, sir.
Alvin Kamara. Last year, he was suspended and he fell in drafts. And I drafted him as my RB2, only behind James Cook, and I took him in the 8th.
Right.
He's not going in the 8th this year, guys. I'm seeing him now in drafts go as high as the 3rd, like late 3rd. And I'm not afraid to take him there. Because if you got a late 3rd round pick, you take him, turn around, take another stud in the 4th round. That's a good start. This guy gives you PPR value. He gives you explosion still. And he's featured in the run game and the passing game. So he's going to return the PPR value. He's going to get more touchdowns this year, I feel. They're going to run him into the ground, right?
Right.
Pause. And this guy's a stud. He's a fantasy stud. We know this. We've known this for years. No suspension this year.
Right.
Look for him to return value immediately. Remember when he came back, guys? He was getting like 12 targets through the air.
Right.
I won my weeks in the middle right there when he came back. He was the reason I won because of all those dump off passes and whatnot. So I would expect that to continue. He's a year older. They're going to squeeze it. They're going to squeeze him. They're going to get everything they can out of him. Pause. and he's going to return value for your fantasy team. And I would be targeting him as an RB1.
Right. And he's also what I would call a hero RB target guy or zero RB target guy. And I think he's going to get goal line carries. A lot of people are talking about Kendre Miller. Listen, Kendre Miller going to have to prove it to me. There's no way that you paying Alvin Kamara $13-14 million a year and you're going to put Kendre Miller in there. After what Alvin did last year, you got to get your money's worth before he moves on. So I think they run him into the ground. Pause. So I love Alvin Kamara, man. Great pick, Arambi.
I read today as well that Kendre Miller is struggling a bit in pass protection and blocking, and the coach is talking him up already. I need to see more. Right. Jamal Williams he's running on guaranteed money, but he ain't him. Alvin Kamara is him. So if Miller's struggling and Jamal's struggling, right, it's going to be the AK show all day. He is the best player on that team, and Roll's going to get mad at me. He is better than Chris Olave. I'm sorry, bro, but that's the number one player on that offense, and then it would be Olave for me. So I'm targeting Alvin Kamara in my drafts. I'm going to take him as a late third, or like you said, like a hero RB approach.
Right. I'm taking him a third or fourth round. Just depends on what's on the board. We got to be careful. He might move up to the second round in some leagues, just depending on what's going on, what's the talk in the offseason, right before we draft. So, I love AK. Okay, guys. So now I got another running back that I want to talk about. And this guy, you would think this guy wouldn't really be skyrocketing. You would think he would already be up there in the rankings, but he failed because of some injuries last year. But it's Devon Achane. Yes, guys, Devon Achane. The reason why I like Devon Achane and he's skyrocketing up the rankings, guys, is because this guy put on, you see the muscle mass that he's put on? He's put on about 15 pounds. And also they drafted Jalen Wright. So a lot of people say, they drafted Jalen Wright. So I don't want Achane. Let me tell you why they drafted Jalen Wright. They told Achane in the offseason, bro, we ain't going to pancake you this year. Last year, we was worried about you getting hurt because we needed 2 running backs, and we only had Mostert. But this year, if you go down, we're going to be good with that, and we're going to go with Wright or Mostert or whoever. So we're going to give you the workload. We're going to give you 18 touches a game this year because, we got to win at the line of scrimmage. We're not going to be able to throw it to Tyreek and Waddle every game. So Achane going to get that work. And a lot of people are saying, this can't be real. He can't get 10 yards a carry. He can't get 8 yards a carry. When you pay for the Miami Dolphins with Mike McDaniel's system, you can get 10 yards a carry, 8 yards a carry. Now, does he have it again this year? No, but I think he will lead the league in yards per carry this year. He will have the biggest yards per carry. He might break records for the most carries and starting off his career above 5 yards per carry. So I love Devon Achane. I'm trying to target Tyreek, Waddle, Achane, and Tua. I want that quadruple stat.
You want a lot of Dolphins.
Yes.
You're going to open up an aquarium.
Yep.
I like it, man. So last year, Mostert had 20 touchdowns. I'm fading Mostert.
Yes.
He's still probably going to ball out in the early quadrant. I think they're going to run him into the ground. I don't think they're going to release the rookie and then, get Achane hurt right away, knock on wood.
Right.
So I see them using Mostert a lot, and that's why I kind of want to fade him. I don't see him being that guy again this year. He's still explosive. And if you get him super late, maybe. But I'm more excited about the rookie and Devon Achane, man. I think by third, fourth quadrant, it's gonna be those guys, mostly with Achane leading the charge.
Right. And if Achane is the player that I think he is, Mostert and Wright might be just playing second fiddle and watching some greatness. Because he's going to have a lot of running lanes when you have to stop Tyreek Hill and Waddle in that passing game. He's never going to have a stacked box. Pause.
Yeah, man. Do you think he returns more PPR value this year?
Yes, definitely. He's learning the offense more. He was a rookie last year, so he's going to be getting screens. If you saw in the third and fourth quadrant, he was catching screens and stuff like that. So Mostert and Wright will have a chance to be on the field at the same time with Devon Achane. Excuse me.
I took Jalen Wright in my dynasty draft, so I'm excited about him. I'm excited about
took him at the 3 what? What was it? The 3 something, right?
3-2.
3-2.
And then I took at a trade from last year, so I had 2 third-round picks. So I stacked Wright and then Kamani Vidal. So I got 2 future studs, in my opinion, in the 3rd round. And I needed help at running back, so very excited about them. I'm excited to see what the Dolphins can do with the run game, because when we think of them, we think of passing.
Right.
And like you
But
said,
you got to understand, Mike McDaniels come from a running type scheme.
Yes, he does.
Same thing with Sean McVay. Sean McVay, you would think that was the passing team last year, but they were top. Was they top 10 in rushing attempts last year? Sean McVay offense. And the reason why I'm talking about Sean McVay, they all from the same tree. So you think these are passing squads, but they actually trying to set you up so they can run the ball.
Right. And, what if they come out slinging it and all those lanes are going to be open for those running backs to run through?
Come on.
Specifically
Achane. Come on.
I'm having technical difficulties here with a cat. I apologize. Oh, okay, man. That's a great pick. 3rd rounder.
I think if you want to, you might have to take him in the 2nd round.
Woo!
The reason why he's not going to come back around to you in the 3rd round.
I agree. So late 2nd, and then maybe if you got a late 2nd pick, you could grab him, pause, and like another stud. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, man. I agree. I see him going there. Maybe like early 3rd, possibly late 2nd.
Right.
So my wild card player, my last player, is also a running back, and he's a veteran. He's on a new team. He's never been the RB1, but this is a very serviceable quarterback, and people sleep on his PPR ability, his pass catching ability. It's Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon. So he's not the most, popular name or, sexy name, pause. The team he's on, their offense is going to be disgusting, and opposing defenses are going to have to shut down the passing game. So like you said with Achane, he's going to have lanes to run through all day long, and opposing defenses aren't going to know where the ball's going to go, and he's going to catch dump off passes as well. So with the wide receivers, it's not necessarily volatile because we know these guys are going to return value. This guy is a value pick still, but again, when we get closer to draft time, he's going to rise up the rankings based on the team and the offense that he's on. They could play defense as well. This is a sleeper defense, TD.
Right.
So when you got a kick-ass defense, you got to, kill the clock a little bit, get those surefire touchdowns or the honey touches. Joe Mixon is going to benefit from that.
And let me tell you what's going to happen. I've seen this happen in fantasy all the time. We all got Stephon Diggs. We got C.J. Stroud. We got Tank Dell. We got Dalton Schultz. We got Nico. And these guys, they get off all the way down the field. And who comes in there and get the touchdown?
Joe Mixon.
He got 2 touchdowns, and the rest of the guys had a great game, but Joe Mixon was the best fantasy player. Why? Running back. That's why fantasy, listen, we do fade running backs a lot now because of running backs injury history. But when they are getting the carries and they healthy, it's hard to beat a team that when a guy's getting the goal line carries. It's hard to beat them. So I love Joe Mixon for that reason this year, just for the goal line carries, and he's on a great offense.
You don't think he's going to be stoked to play with that offense and that new quarterback?
Of course he is. The young quarterback, he's going to rejuvenate him.
I want to see the, when he was on the Bengals and they would score and they would all do their temptation shuffle. I want to see that in Houston. I want to see that, man. That's going to be good. So I think Joe Mixon, statistically, he had an okay year last year. He balled out 2 years ago. He was a top 3 running back. Right. So I see him returning, maybe not to like top 5 status, but he's going to rise in ADP. He's skyrocketing up the board based on the team he's on with the quarterback. And that team's going to be putting up numbers. It's only going to benefit Joe Mixon.
Facts. All right, so you want to go ahead and get to the comments in the comment section, bro?
Yeah, man, that was my list. We are done.
Yes, sir. So, bro, you can start off. You can read the first comments. You can start off, and then I'll catch up, and I'll finish it up.
All right, I'm going to go all the way to the top. Pause.
Okay. I think
All right.
D-Line is the first.
Well, there's a couple before we even started. I'm going to get those real quick. So Big Will said, I think Jaylen Warren will have a breakout season, even with splitting the rock with Najee. I agree, man. I'm very excited for both those running backs. If you could stack those two running backs, that's a nasty stack to get. It's a nasty squeeze.
What's going on, Big Will?
What's up, man? And then we got D-Line, LFG TD on a roll, RIP logo. So RIP legend. He's talking about Mr. West.
Yes, sir.
And then looks like you bet on Luka tonight, 30 points and a double parlay plus 150. There you go, man.
That boy is nice with it, man. I think last year he told me about a couple bets that was like plus 800, and he smashed it. That dude knows his sports, man. I think that's a great bet tonight. I think that's fantastic. Great job, bro.
Yeah, I think they win tonight. They're at home.
I do too.
They got to win.
Yeah. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Go to the three dots at the top on the right-hand side and click the like button. Appreciate you.
And then roll, come up later, man, when we do another live. This is just the split format on the phone. And then Roll wants you to start a Dynasty channel.
How about I let you be the Dynasty guy that we connected and we brand together?
There you go.
So you keep your channel, and I send people that want particular Dynasty content to do it that way. I got to stay niched in where I'm at, and that's how I feel like we can do it. It's like Coca-Cola. It's like Coca-Cola and Pepsi coming together to create a drink, right?
I'm still drinking Mountain Dew. I don't even care. All right. D-Line, this is a great question, TD. If you could go back in history and watch any live sporting event live in person, what would it be? That's kind of a hard question to answer. There's all kinds of things,
especially on the live. I guess I'm gonna keep it football. I guess I would go to. This is random. I guess I would go to the Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl game.
That was a really good Super Bowl. That was awesome. One of the best Super Bowls of the last 10, 15 years, man.
It was. When Larry Fitzgerald, James Harrison, Kurt Warner, Troy Polamalu, Anquan Bolden, Edgerrin James, Big Ben.
The pick six.
It was an awesome game. Yep, the pick six from James.
Money.
That's why they won the game. Arizona hit that game.
I didn't think he was going to get there, and then he made the move, and he was already gassed at the 20, and he made it. That was such a good Super Bowl. Yeah, man. Right. For me, I want to go back and see the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl. I want to see that shit live. 28-3. Woo! 28-3. Come on,
but look
guys.
at the money made on that, though. If you'd have took the Patriots at 28-3 and you'd have put let's say $100, you probably would have won $5,000.
They won the Super Bowl. Vegas won the war.
Yes. D-Lion, we got a super chat. D-Lion says Ali versus Frazier. That's what he said he would have did. He would have went to the Ali and Frazier game. Hey, bro, you a diehard boxing fan. I don't know if I would have. I don't think I would have chose that one.
That was an iconic moment in sports.
It was. Definitely was.
That's a good one, D-Line. Roll says Kyler Murray, my QB 10 in Dynasty. Yeah, in redraft and still in Dynasty. He's young and they're obviously building around him, so he's got a bright future. I don't see him losing Dynasty value in the next 2 years, maybe after that though.
Right. I think putting him at number 9 is great value, but I think actually if you really wanted to be really into, I think he's probably top 5, top 6. Personally.
Was it his rookie year? He was a top 5, I'm pretty sure.
No, not rookie year. He was top 12 his rookie year, but his next year he was top 3.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And he was on his way to win the MVP, and he got hurt.
Yep, I remember that. D-Line just traded for Kyler and Diggs. There you go, man. That's gonna.
Yeah, he did it in my league.
Oh.
He did it in my league. Yes.
Oh no! What did you trade, D-Line? I'm curious.
He traded Jordan Love and somebody else.
I could see it. I mean, it
I
depends
think
who
he
you talk
swapped.
to.
He just swapped. He swapped
Yeah.
J-Lo and Margot Robbie.
It's a little flip flop.
Right.
No biggie. Rose says, I want Herbert over A-Rich. I said what I said. What do you think about that, TD?
Yes, sir. I'd rather take the upside of A-Rich. I like the upside. That's all. Pause.
I think that's another one, depending on who you talk to, it could go either way. Because, like,
Right.
Herbert is, in my opinion, he is a phenom. He's been disserviced by his coaches and injuries. And I think this year we'll see not as many passing attempts, obviously, but, like, more efficiency. Still throwing touchdowns, though. Ethan Curry said, I am targeting Jason Dotson. I think he's talking about Jahan Dotson.
Uh-huh.
I believe with the new team, he will ball. He's also due for a breakout. I drafted him last year, so I drafted him as a wide receiver 2.
Me too. And I had to pivot off of it, but I'm still. I like his talent. I think he's still gonna be a really good player. I think we just got to be patient, and I'm steadily picking him up. He's not skyrocketing up the rankings, but he will be on one of my deep sleeper, or not deep sleeper, but I say sleeper videos.
I'm liking Scary Terry at the right price this year, man.
I like Scary Terry as a rookie, and then the second year, and after that, man, he just kind of been like a guy that people just don't really respect. Not that he can't play, but in fantasy, he ain't played with the right quarterback, so we don't really give him his cookies. Pause.
Right. I think this year he'll be serviceable for sure.
Right.
And then D-Line said, Will Levis buy now? We're both high on. I mean, I'm high on Levis. I think TD's high on him at the right price, maybe as a QB2 or a backup. But like, I could see him putting up some serious boom weeks, especially if their defense sucks, because they're gonna be slinging that football.
Right. I like Will Levis, pause, but I like him as a player, fantasy football player. He pushes the ball downfield. If they got the right coordinator, Will Levis can be dangerous. You gotta make him have easy reads. You don't make him go and be Tom Brady. That's what's wrong with a lot of coordinators. They try to make guys be like Tom Brady early in the season, where Andy Reid doesn't do that. Andy Reid, he can break the game down so minute where these guys look like they read the defense. Pat Mahomes said, I hate to start reading defenses to about 2 years ago. I'm telling you. So if you take Pat Mahomes and you put him on any other team, man, he might just be a guy who turns the ball over a lot. But so what I'm trying to say is Will Levis, guys, if he got the right coaching, he could push the ball downfield to Calvin Ridley and D Hop. And then you also got guys that you can get the ball in their hand like Treylon Burks. And you also got some good yak guys and some satellite backs like Tony Pollard and what's the guy named my running back that I'm high on, the other guy.
Spears.
Spears. Tajay Spears. I think those two guys is going to help him out where he can get the ball out quick. He's going to be able to hold on to the ball. So I think Will Levis is a good guy to buy low on Dynasty. And redraft, you better get a super stud team if you try to hold him as your quarterback one. Because quarterbacks score a lot of points in their fantasy game this time.
I think
at this point in time in the NFL.
I think like you said, if you put together a team of stud position players and he's your starting quarterback, you might be okay. If you take him early and you don't have these boom guys all up and down your roster, you might struggle. Who's their wide receiver 3 now? Who did they get? They signed him.
I think it's Treylon Burks, ain't it?
Tyler Boyd.
You think he's going to beat out Treylon Burks?
Maybe not, but who's their coach? It's Callahan.
Did he come from Cincinnati?
Right. So they're bringing that passing game over. They brought another Bengal wide receiver over to kind of maybe like teach these guys, show them how this offense is supposed to work. So
Callahan, right?
Right. So I'm excited about their passing game, and I'm going to target a Titans wide receiver. Pause.
Right.
Which one, though? DeAndre House of Pancakes?
Yes. Even though they are doing a rebranding, I still, yes, D-Hop.
All right, bro. Are you caught up on the chat? You see where we're at right now?
Yes.
Do you want to take over? We just did Will Levis by now, and you want to take over the rules comments?
Yes. So he says, I love Kyler Murray, but I traded Murray and a second for Drake May and a first since I only have them two spots apart. Okay. So he said, I love Kyler Murray, but I traded Murray away and a second for Drake May and a first since I only have them for two spots apart. I don't know if I would have done that. I think I would have kept Kyler Murray. That's me.
I would have probably kept Kyler as well based on, the scheme they have there and the weapons they have there. But I do know Rolly knows a lot about these college players and a lot about the schemes and whatnot. So he might be onto something. Drake May's a stud. We just got to see
Right.
it.
Yeah, I think you got to give him time to get some weapons.
Maybe
The
later in
Rose
the
said,
season.
right. The Rose says, I remember when T-Law was going ahead of Lamar just last year. Well, last year, and I'm a big fan of T-Law, but that was wild. Yeah, a lot of people was putting T-Law because they tried to say Lamar was injury prone. That's why you can't be stuck on last year. You got to see progression. And I know Lamar just had a like a spontaneous injury. What do you think? You think T-Law was ever going to be better than Lamar?
No, I think people were excited that Ridley came to town, and I think they thought that was gonna up T-Law's game, and I think that's why he might have struggled a little bit, maybe going away from the guys he's used to throwing it to, the tight end, the running back, Christian Kirk, who's a total sleeper. So maybe this year, like, if you look at his stats, TD, you go back and look at them, they really weren't that bad. It just over the course of the year, it was like a pain in the ass, like
Right,
rolling this guy out as your QB1. So I would
right,
expect him to bounce back, but I'm not gonna target him, as a QB1 in a higher round.
right. Um, Actually, T-Law, I think he's a good quarterback, man, but I think they need. I don't know. I think they got to get some good weapons around him. I don't think Calvin really fit his game plan. I think he need tall wide receivers like T. Higgins. You know how he was with T. Higgins and Mike Williams. So I
Yep,
think that's why they went and let Calvin really walk and got Brian Thomas, because Brian Thomas is not a great route runner, but he's a phenomenal athlete. And I think the jump balls and that type is going to really help out Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's the type of anticipation throw route running type guy. That's
I
just me.
agree. No, I agree. I drafted him as a QB2 or a backup in one of my leagues last year, and like you said, I pivoted off him. Pause. He wasn't doing what I needed him to do to win, and luckily I was able to grab CJ Stroud off waivers.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah.
The Rose says the fantasy community is sleeping on Herbert. Who's to say he can't produce with not even that bad of a supporting cast? Well, I mean, listen, it's a lot of good quarterbacks. I think that's why Herbert is getting pushed down. I think people know what Herbert is, but he don't have great weapons. So why would they draft Herbert when you have guys like Lamar, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, who you would think you could put Herbert above them, but they have great supporting cast. So I think Herbert is going to be fine, and maybe he does have a breakout season and can win MVP. I think Harambe, you said he could be an MVP candidate, right? I
I
don't
think
know
he
if he
can.
biased. I don't know if that's that San Diego beer talking or not. I don't know.
Oh, this is not San Diego beer.
I
This
know,
is
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time because I know he's from the from the Chargers. But MVP, if he do that, man, that's gonna be kind of goaded a little bit.
yeah. Last year he was ranked higher. His ADP was higher. It's slipping because of last year. He's injury prone. Every player who steps on the field is injury prone, guys. You can't draft like that. Now, if it's a 36-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles, yeah, maybe you don't draft him. But Justin Herbert, still, in my opinion, is underrated, and I think he'll be way more efficient this year. So he's still going to have touchdowns. I think the picks come down a little bit. The yards probably come down a little bit, but man, you're telling me, TD, you wouldn't take him in like the 8th or 9th round? I would.
Yes. Hey, if I could stud out my team and get Justin Herbert instead of Kirk Cousins, yes, I would do it.
Exactly, man. I agree. And that's where
Yes.
he's falling in drafts, guys. So keep an eye on that. If he doesn't rise in ADP by draft season, I'd feel good about drafting him as my starting QB1.
Right. If you wait late to get him, I probably I like Matthew Stafford or somebody like that, or Jared Goff a little bit better. So I won't take him over those guys. But if they going, I definitely take him.
T-Law or Herbert.
Oh, I'm going Herbert all day.
There you
Herbert.
go. Yep. Agreed.
D-Lion says, already took CJ MVP plus 1,000 last month. I told that boy be on it. Yes, sir. The Rose says, Walmart, Chris Olave. He talking about Lad.
Yep.
He says, great route runner, reminds me of Chris Olave. Would you say Chris Olave?
To me, he's like no. To me, he's just like a Walmart, like a Wes Welker type.
Maybe Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I don't see him going on deep routes like Cooper has been sent on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Right.
Like, the kid's a baller. He's got fire, right?
Right. He's a better athlete than Cooper Kupp. That doesn't mean he's better than Cooper Kupp, but he's a better athlete than Cooper Kupp.
I'd look for him to return value his rookie year and definitely be serviceable in fantasy.
Right. What's going on, Alex? He says QJ is sucking with no pads. Is he talking about maxi pads or is he talking about regular pads?
Maybe he's talking about both.
Right. What's going on, Slitty? Good to see you here, bro. Slitley. He says John Brooks or Brian Thomas Jr. dynasty or purely value, not need. I say Brian Thomas.
Same.
CHB says done. I think he hit the like button. Rose says MHJ, Marvin Harrison Jr. wide receiver 4 in dynasty just have to bet on the talent, in my opinion, over Amon-Ra despite production. Wait a minute. Marvin Harrison Jr. wide receiver 4 in dynasty just have to bet on the talent, in my opinion, over Amon-Ra?
I think what he's talking about is like the athletic ability, just the
right.
I think he's referring to that. So Amon-Ra, he's a pro football player. All these guys are talented.
Right.
The scheme he's in,
right.
He's force fed the ball. I do think MHJ will carry good PPR value, and I do think MHJ is a better like athlete.
Right.
But is he going to return those numbers in that scheme? Time will tell. I think that's kind of what Rolly was getting to. So I think in the long run, he sees MHJ as a more valuable dynasty wide receiver going forward.
I understand it, and I don't agree. Just like Cooper Kupp, I can name a lot. Keenan Allen is a better athlete than Cooper Kupp. There's a lot of better athletes than Cooper Kupp, but they ain't better than Cooper Kupp when he's healthy. Amon-Ra is special. So I love Marvin Harrison Jr., but I don't think he'll ever be the player that Amon-Ra is. You can take Marvin Harrison Jr. and put him with the Detroit Lions and put Amon-Ra with the Arizona Cardinals, and Amon-Ra still gonna ball out. And I believe Marvin would ball, but he wouldn't ball like Amon-Ra would ball. That's just my 2 cents. I could be totally wrong because Marvin Harrison is him. His father do got that pedigree. So I'm not gonna say you crazy, but I be like Amon-Ra. I don't know, man. That's just my opinion. I could be biased.
You mentioned earlier Greg Dortch.
Right.
So to me, if Amon-Ra was on the Cardinals, he's putting up numbers like that, like very high PPR value, probably low yards and maybe a few touchdowns. I think his production takes a huge dip if he goes to the Cardinals. I see what Rolly's saying. Like, I do think MHJ is a better athlete, maybe with more like talent, but is he the better player? So I can see both sides on this argument.
Right.
I would rather have Amon-Ra because we know what he's done and we know what he's going to do in this system, and he's still very young.
Right. I can't debate that with the talent, but some guys are just special like that, and I believe Amon-Ra because that's why he wasn't drafted that early because he wasn't like a super upper echelon athlete.
before we went live, what wide receiver was I talking about? My favorite player of all time.
Oh yeah, Steve Smith. But he was an athlete though. He was an athlete. He was a great athlete.
But he didn't have that name coming out of college, right? He had to prove
he didn't. He didn't. He didn't have the name. He didn't have the name. But that dude, he could jump ball you. He was strong. He was fast. I mean, he was a good athlete. He was a better athlete than Marvin Harrison and Amara. Yes. Steve Smith? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Best touchdown dances of all time. Don't hate me. Dude's
Chad
hilarious.
Johnson? You think it's better than Chad Johnson?
I like Steve Smith's touchdown dances more than Chad Johnson.
Right. Clay in Clearfield, what's going on, bro? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. So Alex says he's going half turn on underdog and FPC. He's going mid-second.
He's talking about MHJ. He's going out the 1-2 turn.
Oh, the 1-2 turn? Okay. That's early. I like the mid-second value a little bit better, but I'm not surprised at either one of them. I mean, he has the pedigree. Clayton says Council tried to count James Conner out too, but he sticked his way through that. Yes, he did. He didn't let. I mean, they say that's why he still have injuries, but either way, man, this he's balling, especially in fantasy.
He's got heart too.
Yeah. And he's got moves. He can move, man. You think he's a big guy, but he got moves, man.
So, pause. So he's in the NFL. It takes a special kind of person to make it to the NFL. We all know that. Not everyone goes to the NFL. And then to beat cancer and like mentally stay at that level of production in the NFL, I said it in the chat. The guy is very easy to root for. I love rooting for players like that who go through, hardships in life, or maybe they grew up poor without parents, or they beat cancer, stuff like that. It's very easy to root for players like that. James Conner's no different.
Right. And, he would have been a top 10 pick coming out of Pittsburgh if he never would have caught cancer. They used to call him John Connor, the Terminator.
I love the Terminator, man.
Yep. Clayton says he doesn't have Peyton Manning throwing him, so that's doubtful. I guess he was talking about Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, when we were comparing him to his dad, because I think he was responding to the role.
Right. D-Lion says fire Canada, and they did. They got rid of him.
Shipped his ass up north to Canada.
Right. He I don't know. I mean, I got it. I got them trying to take that opportunity because he was a cutting edge type offensive guy, but it didn't work. DJ Moore was elite with Justin Fields as well. Yes. I mean, he wasn't consistent, but he was elite.
Yeah, booms. That one night against the Commanders when Dick Butkus died.
50 point.
I did DraftKings that night, and I put him as the captain because it was the flip. Dude, when you guys are playing football, you got to kind of follow the storylines and stuff. Like, this kind of stuff matters. Right. And anyone who bet on the Bears or going into that game, people are like, the Bears suck. They're gonna lose tonight. Ron Rivera's gonna beat his old pro team, and they smashed the Commanders, man.
Pause.
They weren't gonna lose on the day that Dick Butkus died.
No. It was the storyline.
Yes, those are real.
Rose says, I'm selling A-Rich at his current ADP. I get it, but if he stays healthy, I think he could be the number one quarterback, man. That's why I say it's a lot of good quarterbacks. That's why it's so hard to get to like Justin Herbert. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. You asked him why. He said he had 12 TDs last time in Dallas with Tony Pollard. Wait a minute. Hey, Rich, what do you mean? Well, I don't get that. Why did he say he had 12 TDs with Dallas? In Dallas.
I think he was talking about Zeke.
Oh, okay. Shane, what's going on?
What up, Shane?
Mark Andrews or Cooper Kupp in a first? Mark Andrews or Cooper Kupp in a first?
I want
Would
Cooper
they?
Kupp in first.
Yeah. Would they talk about which one is better?
Yeah, I think you alluded to that further down in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take Cooper Kupp in the first. Let's see. I almost lost my spot. Okay, it says Cooper and a first. Okay, that's what the Rose said. And see, Shane says Cooper or Adams. Actually, man, I'm gonna be you. You might not. I'm gonna be a little bit different here. I'm gonna be a contrarian. I'm gonna say Adams.
Look what I said right under that.
Okay, I see. Yep, it's Adams. Shane says dynasty purpose. I'm trying to figure out who's the best or fade. And dynasty, you probably could fade Adams. Shane says Josh Downs. What we think with coach drafting Mitchell? I think Mitchell gonna be the number 2, and I think Downs is gonna be the slot guy. Rose said he's traded a third for Zeke, so that means he must be trying. If you trade a third, because I traded a third for Mark Andrews, that's because I'm trying to win this year. I think that's a great move if you want to win this year. I think that's great value. Some people might say a third for Zeke. Well, if you need on the flex play, I think Zeke could have you win. Like he's a great first quadrant play. I think he's going to be at goal line. Could he get hurt or could something happen? Could Rico Dowdle take over? It's possible. I like that trade for Zeke in a dynasty. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that trade as well. So, like you said, especially if you could plug him in the flex, like you're going to get goal line touchdowns for sure. It's a better offense, so it's only going to help your team, especially from the flex spot. Come on
Right.
now.
The Rose says K9 Walker is my sleeper. Yeah, I guess he's a great sleeper if that's what you would consider him. I'm not touching K9, not because he's a bad player. I just think Zach Charbonnet, nobody's talking about him. I don't think Zach Charbonnet just gonna get pushed to the side.
I have him in Dynasty. I drafted him last year, and I don't want K9 Walker to do anything this year. Now, I don't think he's really a sleeper at this point. I think he's more of just like he's a guy you draft like maybe around Zamir White.
Right.
Something like that.
Right. Big Will says, try the watermelon juice from the Whole Foods. Addictive. Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir. This is good.
Hey, man, Whole Foods has some really nice products. Little
Yeah,
pricey.
they do, man.
Little
They
pricey.
do. I'm a Harris Teeter guy. Do y'all have Harris Teeter on the West Coast? Okay.
Nope. So what we have out here is your typical like Albertsons, and
Never heard
you
of
guys
it.
don't even have that. It's like a Lucky or a Vaughn's. It's your typical.
We
like,
don't have that either.
Oh my god. Well, we don't have Wawas. You guys got Wawas, right?
Mm-mm.
Damn.
We got Harris Teeter. We got Lowe's.
We got Lowe's.
Yeah, we got Lowe's, and we got Save a Lot.
Bro, we had
And
those in the 90s.
yeah, we still
We don't
got
got
Save a
those no
Lot.
more.
And that's about it, man. That's about the main grocery stores that we got. It's a couple private ones, but the chains, those are the ones that we have. And Publix.
We ain't got that.
Okay.
We got Whole Foods for sure. And then we have a rival to Whole Foods, which would be called like Trader Joe's.
Yeah, we got a Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's is money, dude.
We got a Trader Joe's. Rose says, A. Rich is still a rookie in my eyes, and I like Drake May as a prospect better. That's why I can't take A. Rich at like his quarterback 7 or 8 in Dynasty. I get that, I understand that, but I don't think Drake May is on A. Rich level.
I get where Roll's coming from, and I can't fault him for that. Like, so I agree. He's still a rookie in my eyes. We haven't seen a full season, and he's got injury problems, and he's got owies right now at camp. Now, is it fake news or is it legit? Something we need to watch? I mean, it's a red flag to me, but his upside is monstrous.
Right. If you take away injuries, I love A. Rich, but with injuries, And if you don't like that, I understand, and I don't have any rebuttal for that, because sometimes you got to just get away from something and move on, because you playing with fire. So I get it.
One thing the role does is he thinks outside the box, and I give him
He
props.
does. I love it. He goes down with the ship. That's what it's about. Like I don't agree with you or anybody on everything, but you shouldn't agree. You should go down with your own players. I never claim to know everything, man. But I like guys to go down with their own ship. Don't be like, oh man, I picked this guy and this guy told me to pick him, and then you upset because that's you went with somebody else. If you pick a guy, no matter what happens, who cares? It's fantasy football. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So go down with the ship with your guy. Pick your guys.
Facts.
Rose says, how bold is this take? I think A. Rich is better than you, G, but he's closer to Young. He's better than Young, but he's closer to Young than he is to Stroud. Whoa.
He's talking about Vince Young?
No, I think he's talking about Bryce Young.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm just going back 20 years.
No, you fine. No, because you didn't know. I only reason why I knew Young, because I've been looking at some Young highlights today. But nah. He's a whole different type of breed. If you talking about throwing, maybe if you just talking about throwing from the pocket, A. Rich is like, he did stuff that Pat Mahomes and none of those guys really haven't done. Like
he reminds me of Cam.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, sir. CHB said Juwan Johnson is expected to miss time. Wow.
Uh-oh. So what, Taysom Hill's back on the menu? Pause.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that, guys. Keep an eye on that, because if Juwan misses time and Taysom Hill's like the starting tight end, he might get a different position designation, and he's a cheat code when they use him. You guys see what that guy can do. He's a little bit older, but
right, he
has the trust of the coach.
And they also, I think they got another rookie tight end, not a rookie guy. There's another tight end they got that I think they can play too.
I think Juwan's underrated. He was a wide receiver
very underrated.
In college.
Yeah, and they changed his position.
I call him Juwan man.
Oh Lord. Siobhan says, I think Richardson and JT would be a good stack. I do too. I think you squeeze in the rushing touchdowns.
Anytime they get to the goal line, you're getting points.
You're getting points. The Rose says, I was talking about Zeke.
Yeah, when he was saying got the 12, 13 touchdowns with Pollard. That's what he was talking about.
Oh, okay. Rose says, people are sleeping on May. People were sleeping on Stroud last season because of the situation. And I feel like his situation is manageable, especially considering his talent. Yeah, you're right. Because we didn't know nothing about Nico. We didn't know nothing about no Tank Dale. So maybe DeMario Douglas and some of those guys can ball out for May. You're right. Anything is possible. I do like May.
It's not the same old Patriots either. It's a completely new team we're going to see.
Agreed.
They can only go up from what they were last year.
Right. Zach says, keep or sell high for Devontae Adams. Keep. I'm keeping Devontae Adams all day.
At least one more year.
Right. Siobhan says, hearing Hollywood Brown and Mahomes are gelling really good at practice. Did you see the video of the throw on Brown's birthday? No, I didn't see it. Did you see it, Harambe?
Hollywood is making some insane catches at camp, and he's gelling, just like Siobhan said, with Patrick Mahomes. I'm high on Hollywood Brown. I've seen what the guy could do. He can boom. I drafted him when he was a Raven. I drafted him when he was a Cardinal. If I get him at the right price as like a wide receiver 3 or even a wide receiver 4, all day long.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's playing, MVS had good seasons with Kansas City. So if he can do it, anybody can do it.
That's right.
And Hollywood has never had this type of quarterback and consistent offensive coordinator and people around him. So I definitely think he can be good. I'm probably won't be able to get to him. I just like a lot of other guys. But hey, I could regret it. I can admit that. And when he played with Lamar, he was good, man. Zach says in Dynasty, yeah, I'm sticking with Devontae Adams, and I'm trying to go down with the ship. Now, if you can't win if you don't have a championship team, then I would sail on Devontae. But if you can win a championship in the next 2 years, I would keep Devontae.
Zach's team, I think the team he's talking about was that stack team he showed us the other day with like all those elite players. So if it's me, Zach, I'm gonna use Devontae. I mean, he's gonna put up numbers again this year. Put him in the flex and then sell high.
Right. Rose says, when you gonna come on my show, TD? Bruh, all you gotta do is let me know a time ahead. Say, TD, Friday, can you come on my show this time? I can do it. But after I get off these lives, bro, I'm done for the night. I can't do any more lives after like tonight. I know you're not asking for tonight, so just let me know a certain time, man. We'll set it up, man. I would prefer like on the weekend to go in the morning, but just hit me up on the email, man. We'll chop it up on the email. He says tomorrow in the morning or afternoon. I can't do it when I gotta work. But maybe we can set something up for Saturday. Let's set something up for Saturday. He says also needs help on passing. He's talking about Anthony Rich.
I mean, Cam wasn't the best thrower of the football, but he had enough of an arm to where you could put it out there and the guys would go get it. So I see that with Richardson. He's got a cannon and he runs. So I just see Cam Newton when I watch Richardson.
Right. Siobhan says Xavier is learning the playbook and Hollywood is capitalizing on his opportunity right now. Okay. Siobhan know her stuff. Rose says, do y'all watch college film at all? I watch a lot of college film. I was really high on Kyle Trask, one of my worst takes. Yeah, man, I watch college film, but you can't just take it literally. So there's a lot of things in it. But yeah, I watch a lot of college film. Do you, Harambe?
When I started playing in dynasty leagues, absolutely. I don't have cable, so I have to go watch it somewhere, which is fine.
Right.
So I miss out on a lot of, live games. But when dynasty draft season's here, I'll go back and look at, hyped players after the real draft and whatnot. Yeah. Roll knows his college stuff for sure.
Right.
And way to own a mistake, Roll.
Yeah. Isaac says, yo, what's up, bro? Glad to see you, man. And he says, okay, Saturday sounds good. And yeah, bro, just try to do it for Saturday morning. Just try to do it Saturday morning.
I'll tune in.
All right. All right, guys. So, not Ro. Haram, you want to say anything, bro?
No. Guys, enjoy the night. Enjoy, if you're watching the basketball game, enjoy that. Should be a good game as it finishes out. And, take care of each other out there. Be safe and be smart. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yep. Y'all be safe. Peace.